As an immunologist, I'm interested in the immune system and how our bodies respond to cancer and how our bodies respond to the various treatments that are given to cancer patients. And with that knowledge, I'm trying to develop more effective treatments for cancer. I think that young women in particular should pursue careers in math and science because basically math and science kind of dictates everything around us. As women, we have a unique perspective and a unique, sense of creativity that could really be instrumental in these monumental medical as well as scientific breakthroughs. The American poet Ralph Waldo Emerson once stated, "Do not go where the path may lead, but instead go where there is no path and make a trail." So I definitely live by that. Just because the crowd is going one way, that doesn't mean that you have to go that way. You may be confronted with a lot of different challenges and things because you're going against what a lot of people are doing, but trust me, you'll find a greater sense of fulfillment at the end of the day.
What I love about working with artists and that I find so rewarding is that you make a whole world every day and nothing's impossible. No matter what bumps happen to end up in your path, know there is a destiny for you to lead, to inspire, and the first person you need to lead and the first person you need to inspire is yourself. And then just watch out everybody else. If you're saying something serious, you don't have to smile to make people like you. When you speak confident truth and you're unafraid, your body will automatically lower your voice. When people hear a low, authentic, confident voice, they trust the speaker.
I like to know that the animals I've helped are doing well, but also that their owners are doing really well and they're happy with the work that I did. Work really hard at what you want to do. No one's ever given me anything for free, but eventually I did find people who were really supportive. Girls who are interested in starting an aquarium should read a lot of books. There's a lot of chemistry actually involved in an aquarium. Sodium in the water, salt in the water, how clean it is, how much oxygen there is. It's important to know what kind of fish you like, if you like freshwater fish or saltwater fish. Do you want goldfish? Do you want tiger barbs? Do you want neon tetras? Maybe you want like a little Nemo clownfish. It's really important to know what all these different animals are like and what they need in terms of their environment.
For me, science is another language for explaining the wonders of the world. To have your own company and be responsible for other people, people that you care about, that you want to be responsible for, to think about how you grow a company. Every day I'm learning something new. Every day I'm being stretched in ways that I've never been stretched. I have to sometimes dig deep and put my big girl dress on. The beautiful thing about being in business is that you're able to develop relationships with clients that have values that are similar to yours. And so if they understand that having integrity with the work that you produce is who you are and what you do, and you're consistent with that, and you honor that, they will as well.
Currently, I'm pursuing a biomedical engineering degree at Georgia Tech. I started off as an international affairs and modern languages major. But right before classes started, I realized I'm at the best engineering school, one of the best engineering schools in the nation. I should try engineering, challenge myself. Who knows if I like it? I shouldn't close that opportunity to myself. And so I tried out biomedical engineering, and who knew? I actually really loved it. The first time I started playing soccer, I was horrible, like definitely horrible. But at the end of it, after 7, 8 years, I was, the MVP of my team. So, there's a difference. You work hard at something and you're gonna get there. The workshop in a biomedical engineering field is run by men. I thought, am I strong enough to use these tools? Am I smart enough to use these tools? And I kind of got past my fear of not being able to build, which is silly now that I think about it.
For those of you that don't know what a microbiologist is, it is basically a scientist who studies bacteria and viruses. We study diseases, figure out the who, what, when, why, and how. Birds of a feather flock together. It is very, very true. If you really surround yourself with positive people, those that have similar interests, those that have goals that are similar to yours, you definitely could inspire one another to move forward in your life and become successful. To be in an unfamiliar environment, you pretty much have to adapt to it and learn and grow with it. It was challenging in the beginning, but when I say it was probably the best experience I've had in my life, and I've learned so much from it. I think it has shaped me into the woman that I am today.
In economic development, at the end of the day, what you're really trying to do is to grow an economy. I've been able to attract over 65 companies, over 7,500 jobs here in the city. That economic output is over $90 billion. The most important thing is when you're dealing in a male world is having enough confidence in yourself. So the way you walk in the room, the way you present yourself, that begins it right there. One of the things Sheryl Sandberg always said is sit at the table, and I couldn't agree more. Make sure you're on the table. In fact, I remember walking into the White House at a conference on economic development. There was no room on the table. Well, I basically pulled up a chair right next to someone and said, excuse me, and literally had to move. I will find my space at the table. And I think we all need to do that. Being able to learn and adapt quickly, you got to be able to be nimble, as they talk about within entrepreneurs. You got to be able to look and maybe tweak and move and be able to be sensitive enough when you need to change and adapt.
I run the newsroom more or less. So I'm in charge of everything from our restaurant reviews, baseball coverage, international news, and politics. It's a great job for somebody who's interested in a lot of things. When I was 12, I had this boy on the bus who was so mean to me. He spit in my face one day. They would hit me with rubber bands. Even at that time, I thought to myself, I'm going to be successful one day, and you probably won't because you're really mean. And it's definitely true. These people are not going to be in your life forever, and your life is what you make of it, not what they think of it. One of the best pieces of advice I could give to young, sassy women who think they have a future in journalism is that it's okay to speak truth to power. Just because somebody has power doesn't mean that they're in the right all the time. You have to be able to back your stuff up, but it's really important to do in a productive and professional way.
Performing on stage is incredible. Getting dressed up and getting your makeup and your hair and the costumes is so exciting, and the build up to be on stage, there's always it's a nervous energy, but it's because you're just excited and anxious to get out there and present what you've been working on all year for, and everyone is in the audience and they're waiting to see it, and when it's all over, when everyone will stand up and applaud, you just know that everything, all your hard work, your sweat, your tears was all worth it. As a professional dancer, it's very important that I stay fit. I don't need to starve myself, which is often a mistake people make about ballerinas. We are athletes, so it is important to have a healthy diet to be able to keep up. Stand out. You want to stand in the front because that is your time to show them who you are. You don't want to hide in the back. And afterwards, you want to make sure that you make a connection with the director. You want to make sure that you left an impression on them.
The thing I did that I was most scared of doing was becoming a firefighter. I thought, where's the gun show? I mean, I'm not huge. I'm fit and I'm strong, but I'm not gargantuan. I get to go into somebody's worst day and make it as good as I can make it. Stop the bad thing from happening and help everything start to get better. Listen to yourself. I would say listen and figure out what you like and you don't like to do. And then I would say before you invest a ton in your education, try jobs out and see what you like to do. This isn't the best job for everybody, but it is the best job for me. The process of becoming a firefighter entails some college, usually 1 or 2 semesters of college, an EMT, emergency medical technician class, and sometimes a firefighter 1 class. That'll qualify you for the most.
I am just so happy that I can wake up every day and do what I love to do. Ballet was my favorite subject. I loved the discipline, I loved the classical music of ballet classes. It really calmed me down, and I found that I could express myself in the way that I love to in ballet. The company decided that they wanted us to perform at the Acropolis, which is this gorgeous ruins in Greece, and it was an outdoor performance. It started at about 9 p.m., so the sun had set, the stars were out, and it was so beautiful to be able to dance outside in this beautiful, beautiful atmosphere. Auditions can be scary. You can get very nervous, and that's normal. It is okay to be nervous. It is okay to be scared at an audition. But when you are auditioning, when you really want something, the most important thing that you can do is to let your personality shine.
When I was in 7th grade, I took a class, and there was a small section about genetics. It was 1 chapter, half of a test, but I was like, this seems really cool. I tell myself every day that I go to work that you have the ability today to save a child's life and keep a family intact. And to me, that is what I get goosebumps talking about it, because it's a powerful thing. You definitely shouldn't be intimidated by math, because unless you're doing limits and calculus, there's typically an answer or a range of answers. You're never wrong with math. To extract DNA from strawberries, all you need is salt, soap, and a coffee filter. Smash up your strawberry, you put your soap in it, and the soap's gonna break up the cell walls. Filter it into a cup, so all you get is liquid on the bottom, and that's all your nucleic acids. That's your DNA, your RNA. There's a lot of chromosomes in strawberries, so you can actually see the DNA.
Favorite subject in school was organic chemistry. And it was my favorite subject because it gave me the opportunity to practice pharmacy. What keeps me focused and motivated to succeed, I'm just very competitive. So if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong. And if you tell me that that's not something that generally girls can do, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to do it. Understand what a critic is. Understand that critics are necessary because they help motivate you to get to that next level, but don't make the critic significant. Use those conversations around what you can't do to propel you into the belief and the faith of what you can do, and just do it.
A director is a midwife, is a shrink, is a mommy, is definitely a mom. And also a great editor. I was 7, maybe 8, 2nd grade. I was utterly taken by the fact that here we were sitting in the dark, strangers, and that over the course of the first 5 minutes of the event, we were suddenly a community, laughing at things together and sighing at things and sniffling at things. But I think most of all, I was so taken by being transported someplace. I think being a good collaborator inherently means that you don't always have to be right. Sit back and say, what if, with a group of people, and to harness the best, most imaginative, creative way to find the
The genesis of a project is both the client and the architect. And there are many times where the client is clear they just want a box with some windows in it. With museums, opera houses, places where people gather, especially where people gather for entertainment, you want oomph. You want something spectacular, you want something different. There is no greater thrill than walking down the street and seeing your project right there and know that it will be there for a long time, and being able to say to someone, that's my building, or I worked on it. If girls are truly interested in architecture or even the slightest interest, they should make things. Whether it is with sticks or with a computer, as long as you're playing with something three-dimensional, something physical, where you put something together, being comfortable with making things is what sets you apart.
I played almost every sport that you can imagine growing up. My first ever foray into sports broadcasting or journalism, I was a print journalist, and I used to just cover all the sports and the teams that I used to play for. In my current job now, I'm one of the very few women on sports radio in the U.S. because it is such a male-dominated field, and a lot of people ask me, well, how did you even get into it? When I think about that, yeah, I definitely did my internships and I got there, but I never thought about the fact that it was usually just men. If you see something that you want to do, but you don't see someone who looks like you in that role, don't stop trying to do it, because maybe everyone has just been waiting for you. I have no say over what other people see, except for what they see. I don't post pictures of myself in bikinis. I don't post pictures of myself with alcohol. Still live your life and have a great time, but just be really careful about what you share with the public.
My job is to come into a dispute and try to learn for myself what I see as the truth and how I best understand the law to apply to the truth of the facts of the case. To become a judge, you first have to be a lawyer. And in order to be a lawyer, you have to go to law school. Someone who's interested in being a lawyer, of course, has to be a very good student and be willing to spend time reading and writing and trying to learn those skills and basically how to communicate clearly. I would define integrity for girls exactly like I would define integrity for everyone else. And that is generally telling the truth, even when it's not an easy thing to say, and doing the right thing, even when there's nobody there to know whether or not you did the right thing.